What's up? Joint Downs. Y'all tuned in to story time with the OG, man. I went to San Bernardino. These cowards told on me. Straight up, man. Listen. Tap in. What's up? Joint Downs. Y'all already know the deal, man. Y'all tuned in to Grape TV. And today we gonna hop into story time with the OG, man. I'm gonna tell you about how I went to a party with a homie in San Bernardino. Females were throwing some party. And these cowards told on me straight up. So if you ain't hit that like and that subscribe button yet, then that's what you need to be doing. But if not, y'all already know the deal with me, man. I'm gonna bust y'all across y'all head with some knowledge every time, man. Straight up. And make sure y'all hit that bell for all notifications. So when these story times, reaction, and reviews drop on these snitches, they pop up on your timeline like the chicken pox. Boop, 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 boop. Y'all already know the deal with me, man. Listen. Tap in. What's the deal? Y'all already know the deal, man. We finna tap into this story time right here, and we gonna break it down to the very last compound. Make sure y'all hit that bell. And if you ain't hit that bell yet, I might as well cut your water off and leave you flapping on the floor like a fish, man. Straight up, man. Listen. Tap in. Now that I got y'all attention, we finna tap into this story time, man. You know what I mean? So, I already had been out there before in San Bernardino. And, I've been to jail out there before. Like, just on some humbug fast shit, like, And the homie like, let's go San Bernardino. They got a party out there. Kind of iffy first, when you be on paperwork and all that, you like, man, I gotta go out here, deal with these weird ass police and shit like that. Fuck it, let's go. So, on the midst of that, we was going to go get some good buds. So, when we pull up at, my boy ain't there, so we end up going somewhere else and getting some buds. So, we could have to take out there, but it wasn't much as we wanted. You know what I mean? So, I'm like, it might be a little bullshit, turned down party anyway. You know how house parties be, so we jump back in the whip, we jump on the freeway, we out of here. And it's crazy because while we on our way out there, I'm like, damn, these the same ways like I was taking from when I was out there before, and we end up getting off on Del Rosa and Date. So we made a left, and then we made a right, and it was crazy because I went to jail over there before. And we turned in some apartments right there, they call them the APs, man. So you gotta go around the loop, we go all the way to the back, bam, find a parking, females right there, so we talking to them. And, it's a few dudes out and a few, dudes that look like they got ran off from LA, because a lot of dudes that get ran out of their hood or do mark shit and all that, they seem to move to like San Bernardino, Palmdale, Lancaster, shit like that. They become off brands from your hood. So I'm sitting there talking, and the female like, yeah, some LA niggas right there, and woo-doo-woo. So I'm like, I really ain't interested in them, you know what I mean? Because a lot of fools that be out there, like I said, be on the run from their own set. So we end up going in the house, chilling, and they popping the bottles, and certain people start coming. The party ain't booming yet, mind you, because it's not fully night yet. We get there, a little bit early, around by like 5:30, and we in there, we blowing down, how they blowing the big blunts, and it's a few females, so it's like the buzz start looking short. So I'm like, damn, they ain't got no weed around here. She like, yeah, right around right here, it's one dude, he be selling, he be having a little weed, eighths and ounces and all that, like. So I'm like, shit, show us where you at. So we end up going outside, and she like point to him. She like, I just don't like going right there and all that, and I want to get put out over here. I want people in my business knowing that she blow. So I'm like, all right, don't trip, as long as you point them out to her. So we end up going, and it's like they got back porches or front porches, whatever it is, and they like little wooden fences, and the inside is like a little patio. So we get at the dude like, what's the deal? You got buds and all that? He like, yeah, I got buds. He already had a low ball attitude. Just, some people could tell a dude from Watts or LA, they could tell our vibe, like, So he like, yeah, I don't sell dimes and all that. So I had to look at him like, damn, it like we want to buy a dime. Like, we don't buy dimes. The dimes don't even fit in our blunts. Like, oh no, I'm just letting you know. Oh, all right. So when he go in, we stand in the little patio part, and he comes out, and when he come back out, me and my boy looking at each other. I'm like, you already know how we is. You know how we is. That's from out here. And he get out and he come out with a little duffel bag, but it's like a backpack duffel bag. And he opened it up. It looked like he had about like probably I want to say 8 or 9 ounces in that mug. So I'm looking and he like, yeah, I'm only selling ounces right now. So I say, yeah, all right, that's good. So how much they go for? So he look at me, he like, they 260. I'm like 260. So when I reach and grab the bag, he like kind of put his hand right there. I'm like, what is you doing? I'm like, goddamn, let me smell it. You talking about some 260 for an ounce? So I open it up and I sell it and I smell it. He like, I don't really like people touching my stuff, And, we gonna make the move, we gonna make the play, you got the money. So now I'm irritated. Now I'm looking at him like, you know what? Looked at my homie and gave him that look like, shit, you might would rob him, I would take this. You know what I mean? Since you out here with the tough talk. And whoop-de-whoop. So in the midst of me thinking all that, he's like, y'all from LA or something? So I'm from Watts. And this where he messed up at. He said, where that's at? When he said where that's at, that's when I just went into the mode. Like, boom, I whipped out on him. Bam. And he like, and it's a lady like from the walk out the door. She like back in the door. And I'm on him like, man, give me this. And boom, when we stripping him, we going in, he ain't got no burner, he ain't got nothing. The whole time, the dude is looking, he's shaking. When I'm telling him to give me his phone, he giving me his phone, he doing this. So it's like, boom, I snatch the phone from me, bam. We spin around the building and come back around the long way and go in the female house. So now we in there chilling and posting. So yeah, we in there chilling. So a few more people come in and, one of the dudes, like, it's a gang of dudes out there, like 7, 8 dudes. They like standing, they like kind of rowdy. So I'm like, bam, it might be pertaining from what we had did, but that's what it seemed like to me in my head. It clicked. So my boy like, what's the deal, man? You want to bounce out or, because you don't want to be stuck somewhere in somebody else's apartments. You know what I mean? When you in some type of stuff like that, anything can happen. Even though we both got blowers, there's only 2 of us. And like the man explained, there's 7 dudes out there, no telling how many guns around. This they city, this they backyard, And at the end of the day, we all know how people in the IE, they don't like LA dudes. So I already know where the grudge was from and him being aggressive from it. But he not even knowing. You just ran into some sharks that's really from Watts. Like, not the ones that just run out there and be lowball marks and just try to live off the set. But yeah, so we in there posted chilling, and I'm familiar with them police cars, so we was gonna walk out because the girl was like, my friend in the front, you wanna welcome me up here to meet my friend and whoop 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 whoop. So it's the little female I was talking to. So I'm like, look at the homie, he like, you wanna go? Like, bam. So before she swung the door open, like I hear like radios and shit. So I take a peek, I look, I can see them out the window, like it's a gang of white cars sitting right there, and they talking to the dude that we booked. And the lady that was about to come out, she's talking to another cop on the opposite side. So it's like they was already making their way to walk to the girl apartment. So while they was walking in, I got to looking around, wasn't nowhere really hiding nothing, so I got to looking around. Boom, I grabbed a burner. Bam, I dropped mine in the cereal box. I put the cereal box, she had like 8 boxes of cereal up there, so it looked good. So when they banged on the door, they like ordering the people, everybody to come out. So she like, oh man. So I'm like, bam. The homie say, shit, I'm gonna look at those side window. They had a bedroom window. So he get out the bedroom window. And when he step out the bedroom window with the bag, he jet that way to the left. I'm finna follow behind him, but I seen 2, 3 police come. So when they come, I like close the window back, bam. So then they like scrambling, like they know I'm trying to run now. And I'm not even knowing if they chasing my boy or not because he ran off and went that way and the police was coming. So now I'm in that motherfucker, like, so they trying to get everybody out. They get in there and they get me and they handcuff me. And when they handcuff me and all that, take my wallet, take my stuff out, run my name. So he come back, he like, what is you doing out here? Ain't you on parole and some more stuff, man? I just made a pit stop, man. Basically, like, so now I'm still sitting in the back seat. So he opened up the door and say, you been fingered out for committing a robbery. So I said, committing a robbery? I ain't robbed nobody. So he looking like, yeah, somebody got robbed and they got robbed for a few $100s. So I'm like, a few $100s. So they closed the door back. By the midst of that, I see them bringing my boy around the building with the handcuffs. So I'm like, they must have chased him and caught him. And it's kind of wicked out there. So I'm sitting there and bam, they taking us to the station already. So it's like, we don't know what's going on, but I figured old boy told. He told, and he was standing right there. It was like 3 or 4 people around him, and they all looked like gangbangers. You know how gangbangers look. So I guess he told him that we robbed him for a few $100 instead of coming back and retaliating and doing this real nigga shit. He wasn't really about that life. He just came out there with that tough talk. So in the midst of having us there, they come in there and they put me in the room. Then the detective come in there with the police. He like, we found the gun. We found your gun. And man, you ain't find nothing on me. So basically I'm like, shit, I already knew. Like, it's low ball over. I got a robbery charge. They found the gun. And, they got my boy. They keeping us separated. So we weren't never able to talk to each other to even figure out what's going on or what direction we gonna go with it. But all we know is to stick to the script. I don't know nothing. I don't know what you talking about. I ain't robbed nobody. So, bam, I guess they go get at the homie. And kind of find out when he ran off and took off, he threw the bag, which had all the weed in it, and somebody else, they little patio area. And he kept going. He got rid of the burner. So now they got us at the station and they questioned him. Then they come back in there to me. So they like, we gonna book you. So when they finished booking me and put me through the process, they end up taking me to it's called a CDC. It's like, cause they don't got no county jail right there, and they sent me to the federal little jail they got right there. So we go in there, they put me in there. It's like 10-man cell, something like that. Like, they got a day room on one side with the shower on this side. It's the bunk bed areas. And then when you look down the hallway, I never seen no shit like that. They got TVs hanging up, going down the hallway, so people watching cable TV and all that. Then they got the phones down there. So I'm sitting in there. I'm like, boom, I drop in there. It's one dude in there. One dude said he was from LA. He said he was from Kitchen Crib. So I'm like, boom, I'm talking to him. Me. I'm like I like to fuck with niggas' heads. So I'm asking him certain questions that he couldn't answer. So after that, I laid back. Boom, they fed us once. We went to the little chow. You can knock on the fucking table when they pass the juice down and all that stuff. That's some weird stuff. I'm our county jail. I'm used to going to the county jail and it's raw. You can fed sandwiches and Freeway Freddy's running around. You know what I mean? That shit looked like a low ball. You know what I mean? Motel. So after we come back from there, I really ain't trying to function with nobody. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there laid on the bunk. I'm trying to worry about what the fuck gonna happen. So the dude tell me, you on parole? I'm like, yeah. He like, yeah, they ain't gonna keep you here. Yeah, they gonna send you. They gonna send you to Chino or something. I'm like, damn, I just went to jail today. He like, yeah, they gonna get you by tomorrow. So when in the midst we went to sleep, I think 4 or something in the morning, they woke me up and pulled me out. So they pulled me out. I'm confused. They like, ooh, yeah, you catching the chain. I'm like, catching the chain? They like, yeah, we don't house you here. You on parole. So bam, in the midst of that, they put me on the bus. That's when I run back into the homie. Now I'm right there. I'm like, bam. He like, yeah, they talking about they got us for the robbery and woo woo woo. And they ain't find nothing on me and woo. I'm like, damn. They say they found the burner in the cereal box. So bam, we on the midst of going to West Valley. We go to West Valley, and when we get to West Valley, the homie ain't on parole, so he like get to a whole nother tank, and they got me going through these tanks. So they get me through the processing little part, and then they bring me back out to a holding tank on the outside where people was catching the chain at. So when they put me in the cuffs, they load everybody on. It's like damn, like deja vu, cause I wasn't even out that long, and these fools take a nigga straight to Chino prison. So I go to Chino prison. You know, you go and you get in Central and you look and they do the medical shit and all that, and they end up sending me to the West Yard, which is the Violators Yard. So when I hit the Violators Yard, I go there with a grudge because these dudes just told on me. They snitched. They ratted. Straight up. So I'm in there thinking, I'm like, down finna catch a robbery, finna give a nigga 5-6 years with the pistol and all that, and hopefully don't throw no gang shit on there, end up with 12-13 years, you know what I mean? So in the midst of that, I hit the West Yard, and I start seeing a lot of San Bernardino niggas, you know, that's their backyard. You know, it's some solid dudes from San Bernardino. I met a few solid dudes, locked up with them, but majority of these dudes on the street don't like LA dudes, so I already got my grudge in there. I'm like, So I get in there, they like, you know, they hit you up when you first come in. Everyone from Grape Street Crip, you know what I mean? Ooh. So they like, I get through, boom, they showing niggas the bunk areas, and I'm in there. I'm on my high power tripping tip, running to one of the homies in there, you know what I mean? He wasn't low ball up to par like me, so we in there chilling. We in there posted, so I get bored. I'm like, let's venture around the dorm. The homie was in there already, so it's like really nothing new to him. So I'm like, they gotta like, you go through the dorm part, and then on the Violators Yard on the West Shore, if you've been there in the back, it's a big day room, like, you know what I mean? You go in the doors, the TV and the tables, they play dominoes and, you know, heat up their spreads, all that type of stuff. So we in there, we leave up out there, get us a little area, start busting down. That's my only way to relieve my stress. I'm busting down. And the cold part about it, you can't use the phone right there. So I'm like, I'm already on Violators Yard, so only ones can use the phone is the dudes that's cleaning up, being trustees or whatever they call it. They got a little job in there. And the dude slides next to me, he hit me up. Where you from? I'm from Grape Street Crib. You know what I mean? Jordan Down Project. Real Project Gorilla. Like, oh, we Project Gorillas too. Like, yeah? He like, yeah, we Project Gorilla. So he said it kind of like with an attitude. So I'm like, all right. I spent off on him to make it feel like disrespectful. Like I didn't want to hear nothing else he said. It was irrelevant to me at that time. So I already zeroed in on him. And I'm like, that's the one I'm going to take flight on. I'm going to pick on him. I'm going to pick with him. And I'm going to make him want to fight. So we get around. And we sitting in the day room part. And the homie heating up some water for a spread. And the old boy behind him. So he like steady talking. So I go right there with the homie and woo. And what he hit me with was, I don't like people standing on the side of me. I said, you talk kind of tough to be, you know what I mean, looking like you looking. He like, what you mean that? Because mind you, he looked like he was like 150 wet. So at that time, I'm like 205, 210. And so he like, oh, I'm Project Gorilla. When he hit me with that, it just something clicked in my head. You know what I mean? I'm already in there from niggas telling on me from your city, and it might have been your homies. So I get off on him. Boom, bam, boom, bam, bam. Sliding, bam. He slide into the wall. I try to get up. I'll get right back off on him. Boom, bam. Put him down. Bam. He sleep. Now, there was another dude in there looked like he was like, I don't know if it was Samoan or mixed with Samoan from California Garden. So we like, he run right there. The homie get on him. Like, man, what is you doing? Push him back. So when he push him back, he like, oh, that's the homie. Ooh, man. So it was like low ball squash. So everybody walking around with a grudge. So including myself. I got the biggest grudge in there because I'm in here for these dudes telling on me and they faking like they LA bound type of tough. So, long story short, we in there cool, we gelling. I end up running into the homie. I go through the chow hall and getting some food. I see the homie Big C-Note. Big C-Note like, yeah, I'm finna get over there. I'm gonna get over there with you. So, you know, mind you, these niggas is big niggas, man. These niggas is big tycoons, man. Like, so when he walks up in the dorm, he coming there with his stuff. Boom, bam, he big. He the biggest one in there. Everybody looking at him. That's your homie. Yeah, that's my big homie. Like, get in there, bam, bam. Get in the back. He chilling. He like, I'm talking to him. He like, yeah, he trying to go home. The homie's down on some time. Know what I mean? I'm in there wild. So he like, man, chill out and woo woo woo. In the midst of that, our other homie drop in there. Big Sasquatch. Sasquatch come here, another big old tycoon. So now I got two big old tycoons in there with me, and I'm the little tycoon, know what I mean? So these dudes is nervous now, so they like, dad, these dudes getting thick. they getting kind of thick in here. So, at the end of the day, my mind was all like praying on the people that was playing tough. Like the homie, like leave him alone, leave him alone. End up one dude from Watts, from Hat Game Watts, kept mouthing off about how he had all these cars and had all this. He ain't had nothing in there. He was like a real bum. So I got tired of him talking. I kept picking on him, picking on him, trying to pick a fight with him. You know, he wouldn't fight me, but he was always talking tough. So he said something tough to me. He was going in the shower. It was a few Southsiders in there with him. So I go in there, boom, I get off on him. Bam, bam, bam. Me in the shower, I'm reckless. Southsiders go to the corner, I'm on him, boom, bam, bam, bam. Grab him by the leg. I'm dragging him all through the staff water. That staffy ass dirty water. Pulling him out the bathroom. Another big homie, you know, like, man, leave him alone, man. Man, fuck this nigga, man. This nigga acting like he tough. So it's like, you know what I mean? Them was like the fun days, but it turned out to be a good deal for me because at the end of the day, when I got my paperwork, they only had me for the burner. So, you know, they don't really do nothing for the burners when the parole board pick up on it. So the parole board picked it up. So I'm like, I hope they don't give me that bullet, that flat year. So when I go in there and I explain to them and I just tell them, know what I mean, it was a party, it was all type of people. They said they went in there and found the burner. That's it, that's all, know what I mean? So I come out now, I'm looking at the paperwork. They got the picture of the gun. You know how they do that shit when they had the picture of the gun, they had the cereal box, the picture. They had all the little shit. So when I go back in there, this dude, he give me 5 months, well half, which is 75 days. 75 days ain't nothing. So I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take the 75 days. I took the 75 days, got up out of there, boom. They sent me to a whole nother yard. But that's a story of these dudes telling on me in San Bernardino County, man. Them dudes were straight marks, and I know some real dudes from out there, you know what I mean? Like, shout out to my real dudes, you know what I mean? I know a few dudes from PPHG, you know what I mean, that be putting it down towards that way. But other than that, you know what I mean, shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Southsiders out there. Shout out to the Southsiders out here. Shout out to the Bloods, the Crips, the Hoovers. Shout out to all the real ones that follow the G code, man. Don't get told on, you know what I mean? But it happens. So when you out there and you making your rounds, just make sure you prepare for the rats. Because these rats, they be acting like they tough. So hope y'all enjoyed this. And I'll be back with another reaction, a review, or maybe another story time. But make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. And if you ain't did that yet, that's what you need to be doing. But if not, y'all already know the deal with me, man. I'm going to bust y'all across y'all head with some knowledge every time, man, straight up. And make sure y'all hit that bell for all notifications. So when I drop these reviews, these reactions, and these story times on these rats right here, they pop up on your timeline like the chicken pox. Boop, 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 boop. Y'all already know the deal with me, man. Listen, tap in, don't snitch.